The Padres have made some serious moves. This has big implications. We've got to talk about the latest San Diego Padres news, rosters, injuries, and everything else going on with the Friar Faithful here in 2025. What's going on, everybody? I'm Christian Pedersen, back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much for tuning in. The numbers are going the right direction, just like the Padres win total this season, but I need your help. Can you hit that subscribe button for me? It does great in terms of my podcasting war. It does great for you in terms of putting good Padres vibes out into the internet, and also it brings the content straight to your feed every day. Padres Digest, here to ride emotionally shotgun with you through the good times and now the concerning times. I'm going to preface this all by saying I am not a medical doctor. So what you are going to hear is reaction to statements released, hypothetical conjecture based off of looking at video, and just gut feeling based off of how screwed we usually are as Padres fans. Let's talk about, you saw Cronenworth there at the beginning. I want to talk about Jackson Merrill, though, being the first guy that is actually being moved onto the IL. He, as of April 8th, with a actual retroactive to the 7th, which is some baseball trickery, is moved on to the 10-day IL. No more DL. It's the IL now, the injured list. And is with a hamstring strain. We'll get to some quotes from Mike Shildt that makes it sound like this is more getting ahead of it, preventative of it, and all that. Buried in this news is that Oscar Gonzalez is coming up to the Padres, and I think that this is it is exciting. It is worrisome, obviously, to always have a player of any caliber going to the IL, but especially somebody like Jackson Merrill, who is a defending rookie of the year, just got a contract sent, hitting the absolute bleep out of the ball. But to me, that's kind of why the Padres are making a smart move here. If he's got a little tweak, if he's got a little strain, keeping him healthy for a longer is great. We need that. I think that Oscar Gonzalez is a fantastic choice. He's been knocking the cover off of the ball, and not everything translates, obviously, from the minor leagues to the major leagues, i.e. see the entirety of Kyle Blanks' career with the San Diego Padres. Dude would rip the cover off the ball in minor leagues, bar none, always, and then would have good stints and bad stints in the Padres. So not saying that Oscar Gonzalez coming up is this like, well, we've got one-for-one kind of replacement, but Oscar is a good replacement, and I think that he needed to be up in the majors anyway. You can go check out some of the other videos that we've got on the channel. This is why you need to hit subscribe, but he, I think, was a good, if not perfect, or better improvement replacement, whatever you want to call it, for Yuli Gurriel. So moving Oscar up is a good move in the long term of getting this guy into the clubhouse. He's a good hitter. He's a versatile guy. And if it is for, at the time of us making this video, it's already under 10 days. So by the time you watch this video, it'll be well under 10 days. If Merrill comes back, I think it is a good, if not great move to keep Merrill healthy for as long as possible and to make some, some first initial changes. We've seen it already with the bullpen a little bit, where they've gone to some guys and gone back and forth a little bit. And now we see it, hopefully, with the bench, where they're not holding on to some of these veterans too long. You got this courtesy of AJ Cassavell talking to Mike Shildt. Let's move on now to the other injuries. And Shildt talks kind of in general about all of the injuries being things that they are overly optimistic about. We got one other quote here from Shildt about Jackson Merrill. At the moment, it does not appear to be anything overly serious. What does overly serious mean to you? Let me know in the comments. I think, to me, doesn't look overly serious. Feels like a best case scenario. I'm trying to think of the right word here, but we don't even we have videos of the other guys actively being strained. We don't have video even of Jackson Merrill. This feels like a tweak and a strain that it just happens during the course of the season, and that probably, if this was, Dodgers coming up, Giants coming up, NL West on the line, he would still be with the team. So I like it. I like a preventative stay. I don't think that this is the end of the world when you have a relatively one-to-one of a plug and play. Of you can bring up one more outfielder, you can move some Brandon Lockridges around, you can get, there's one day off mixing all of that. You gotta deal with it for 8 out of 162. That's fine. What we got to talk about though, and these are where I think the serious implications start to absolutely balloon out. This one really concerns me. Of Fernando Tatis struggling with it a little bit as well. You see there, he swings, arm goes kind of funny. He pulls it out a little bit, and I'll show you maybe a little bit more zoomed in version of it. There's a little hitch at the end of that swing, and we've seen some of this from Fernando over the years. He swings really hard. He plays really hard, and injuries happen. Tatis would end up staying in the game for a little bit and end up coming out 2 innings later. So not nearly as catastrophic or concerning, if you will. This is from AJ Cassavell. I flashed to this earlier, but this is from AJ Cassavell talking to Mike Shildt. We're optimistic for Friday when asked about the status of both Fernando and Jake. What do we do here? Do we panic? Do we feel optimistic about Friday? Do we think small picture? Do we think big picture? This is where you guys can be interactive with me and let me know kind of where your concern levels are at. This is going to sound weird. I am not concerned, but then there's this only little sliver of normal rational concern, and then almost the rest of that meter is absolute panic. Because what we've seen throughout so far with this Padres this season, and you can go check out all the other videos, I always encourage you to do that, is that we found a little bit of depth. Got Iglesias fixing some of those infield holes. We've got Sheets helping out with some first base depth. We've got Hayward and Lockridge kind of feeling the Padres went from being a bare bones team to having a little bit of depth. But a little bit of depth does not allow you to lose Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis, and Jake Cronenworth all in a 3-day span for anything longer than a couple of days here, a couple of days there. So, okay, let's game plan this out. That Shildt is saying optimistic about Friday. And that they come back in a staggered sort of, they're not up to full speed for a little bit, but they're not going to sit them on the IL. The pitching staff is doing well. So I don't think that we need all of these guys playing at their A game all the time to win every game. But the question to me becomes, if Cronenworth has to miss a couple of days at second over the next few weeks, we lock, obviously, in Jose Iglesias there to play second. What does that mean for the rest of that infield? Do the Padres need to, now, I think it puts extra onus on, they need to move Yuli Gurriel out and bring somebody up. Is it Turso? Probably not, because bringing up Oscar Gonzalez adds that replacement outfielder, and then you've seen it a little. You saw it in the game where Fernando left. Hayward goes and fills in the right side or right field spot. I think you can probably then say that the Padres need to bring up an infielder. But that's where you start looking at the minor leagues right now, and there is not the way that the Padres are loaded with Oscar Gonzalez hitting well and Turso Ornelas hitting well out in their outfielders are hitting really well. We saw De La Cruz, the young, defensive-minded shortstop, prospecty thing, project, whatever you want to call him. We saw Ethan Salas, the young catcher. That doesn't solve anything right now. There is no veteran dude. There's nobody really right now in the minors, in the infield, who's like a perfect plug-and-play kind of dude. So the Padres, that's where I'm teetering. Like, if it is a couple of days and all these guys are back, then this is just the start of baseball season being baseball season. And there's going to be some bumps and bruises. There's going to be some ebbs and flows. There's going to be progression and regression. But if this is injury time, then the Padres, I think, need to start seriously considering what is the next move. Is the next move trades for bringing in a bat, grin and bear it, and just be like, we're going to white knuckle it through the next 2 weeks, try and get everyone real rested up, as healthy as possible to play out the rest of the season, because you're never going to be healthy for all of them? Or do the Padres, try and hide it, sort of musical chairsy? We're going to give Jake a day at first. We're going to give... we're going to give 3 days of Oscar out and right and Hayward over here. Then we're going to call Turso up. And do the Padres start making a ton of moves? That's where I'm afraid I'm not able to offer infinite clarity on what I think is the right next move, because I'm a little worried on the infield depth. Outfield depth, I think we're fine. I think the Padres can plug and play enough different guys. If Fernando needs a couple of days to get right, or 2 weeks or whatever, or it ends up needing a 10-day stint going retroactive onto the IL, that's fine. It's the Jake thing that actually worries me more than that, because there's the lack of depth behind it. There's the lack of a left-handed bat that can hit in the infield and play. There's some of that I think the Padres then got to ask themselves, what are the acceptable offensive losses before we need to maybe start dishing some pitching to go trade for some hitting? Padres don't have a ton of that, and that's where you then start to emotionally spiral. We are not there yet. I will run you back through where we are. We are optimistic that by Friday, April 11th, the Padres will be putting some of these injury concerns in the rearview mirror for the combination of Jake Cronenworth and Fernando Tatis, and that as of April 17th, a healthy Jackson Merrill will be returned and added to the roster. Those moves all being said, I think that Oscar Gonzalez needs to remain a permanent San Diego Padre, stay up here all season long, and I think that now the need for depth in the infield, or just the need for depth in general, puts Yuli Gurriel square in my targets of get him out, jettison him, shoot him into the sun. Let's never hear from him again, and let's get a guy or two guys, or a revolving door of guys. Give me a new guy every 12 hours even through the minor leagues until we find somebody that can hit 230, play some defense, maybe have some speed. Let's open audition people from San Diego County. Let's do a Vince Papale. I will take anything to fix that second spot, but I think these injuries, already showing that the Padres are dipping into some of that talent, need to accelerate the dipping in, even if it is just for 2 weeks, little audition time, bring some guys up. We need to get rid of some of the dead weight at the end of that bench to help offset that and lower the stress level about some of these injuries. That's what I got for you here on this one. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, though, so you check out all the videos that we've got for you all season long. And until next time, we'll say talk to you soon, Friar Faithful.